Hi fellow traders, happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm not doing a rolling with Ed today because we're getting ready to roll to the lake, probably have a cookout. That's pretty much what we do for Cinco de Mayo. But just to give you guys a quick, some quick notes on Cinco de Mayo. A lot of people think it's Mexico's Independence Day, like our 4th of July here in the U.S. It's actually just a celebration of the Battle of Puebla. Um, Actually, their Independence Day, or they declared independence about 50 years before this battle even started. But in the United States, what it's turned into is a celebration of Mexico's history and culture here in the United States. There's some rich Mexican history and culture here. You know, half of my family is Mexican or of Mexican descent. So of course, it just makes sense that we celebrate it every year. But I just wanted to, clear that up for you guys. But what I have for you, I did the recap on my trades from Friday, which contains a very important lesson. Also recap the whole week, kind of show you how we ended the month and all of that. It's a little bit longer than normal because it's just a recording of what I did in the community Friday, before we closed it out. So just be patient with me on that and enjoy the rest of the day. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, guys. I don't know how many of you are left. I know this is late on a Friday afternoon, but a couple of you I promised I would go through my reflection on this particular trade because of how it came about. So yeah, that's it. This was it for today. All right, so we had several stocks on watch, and as always, if one doesn't really stick out, you're kind of just flipping back and forth and trying to find one that's it looks like it's gonna give you the best opportunity. So the first one that I was looking at was CTSH. I think, hold on one second, CTSH. And you can see we put in this candle here, and this was really good for opening range trade because we didn't have this huge candle. This candle was, I could work with this. So I was looking for it to sell off and crack the 52-week low, which is right here. And I knew if it held its 52-week low, we could get a nice washout. And obviously you're going to get profit taking once you crack the 52-week low. You've got people sitting here waiting to, cover their positions. And that's what we got. And then it held, and then we got the next leg down. So this was a really nice trade. But what happened at the open, it jumped on SSR, and then the second candle is the first 5-minute candle. The second candle opened and started to ramp up. So at that point, I took my eyes off. Even though I said, I need to be patient with this and just wait and let it come back. When I saw this ramping up, that's when I quickly, saw that this one, the ATVI, was breaking, below its 52-week. Breaking below its opening range low. And I was late getting in this because I was trying to look at the Thinkorswim chart, which, of course, has all of my notations on it. It has everything, and I didn't transfer everything, over to this chart pre-market like I should have. So this was just a blank chart. And so I didn't want to miss the move, so I jumped in. So number one, right off the bat, I knew that was the fear of missing out. So, even though this trade worked and, the result of it was good, it started out, pretty bad with some frustrating feelings. So my feelings throughout the trade were feelings of frustration. Because number one, my thinkorswim was acting crazy, and it wasn't, I couldn't get the chart to come back up, and I had to jump in this thing, and all of a sudden I fear missing out trade, and it started to work. It started working pretty good. It sold off, really nicely, but then it started to turn around on me. So I did have a stop up here at 47.50, and my platform, it froze. I typed in the stop. I thought it had hit, but evidently it didn't. So it didn't take me out, and then it came back down. So in my mind, I'm like, well, this thing is still in play. I know we had this huge wick up, but it didn't hold over these moving averages. It still closed back below this 5-minute opening range low. So even though I'm a good ways away from it, this is what I was basing my trade off of. And so I'm getting ready to put in this stop again, and this platform freezes. And I can't do anything. I can't type anything. I can't do anything. So by the time I can get this thing unstuck, I'll have to log all the way back off and log back on. This thing had run up and it was coming back down. Now, I didn't see this happening, but it did. It ran up and then it was coming back down. So, again, just like over here, I had to make a decision. I wasn't just going to jump out of, just because something happened I didn't intend or I made a mistake. I'm not going to rush or snap to a judgment and just take it off. I'm going to assess the situation and, see what positive I could come out of it. And, honestly, I don't recommend you doing this until you're really comfortable reading the price action and what's going on in the market. And if you gave that exercise an honest chance, for the 30 days, you should be able to read this price action, be able to identify a trend, and know that as long as it's holding a trend, your trade is, your trade is still in play. If you didn't do it for 30 days and you were doing everything else but what you were supposed to do, then you didn't learn this skill. And in order to do it, you're going to have to go back to the beginning and do it. But I always just stop, take a breath, assess the situation, and if I have to stop out, I will. So here we were coming back down, and all I saw was selling pressure. So I'm like, okay, we're just going to hang on to it. If it comes back, I'm going to take it off. And then at this point, I'm looking at, hey, we're still making lower lows. This is still lower low than this. So we're still trending down here. So we're still in the downtrend. Everything is still, on the up and up. So the bad things about this trade was the entry. I entered. You can see how far away from the opening range low I am. I chased this. Fear of missing out on this trade. That was the bad thing. The good thing is I took my time and assessed the situation. and I didn't snap or make rush judgments. Now, once you become a professional trader, you're going to do this. This is what you're going to do. You're not going to just get mad and, just stop yourself out. And it doesn't make sense. If you don't know what's going on, if you really don't understand what's happening, then yeah, that's the smart thing to do. And I've made that distinction, many times over the last couple of years. So, and every time this happens, I have to go through the same thing again. Is so that you can understand, the distinction between how to react when you have experience under your belt, and then how do you have to react when you don't. So everything was working. Here we had another bounce up through these moving averages. And again, as long as this trend was holding, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to leave the trade on. It still has a chance to work. I could get out of this and go chase another stock and end up losing on this and losing on the one I chase. You guys know the drill. So I stuck with what I had. And we ended up getting the move. I got my first target, my second target, and I was looking for a move down through 46. I didn't want to put a target here because it was really, really close. But I did get it at 46.30. It's about 10 cents away. But I was looking for 46 for my last cover. This I kind of split the difference. Just based on the way this stock was trading, I had to change my target a little bit. And I got out here, but it turned around on me and I ended up, stopping out and, profit stop on it. But the trade does make sense. It's just that I didn't execute it. The entry I didn't execute well. Even though the trade makes sense, everything, looks like it. It was solid when I got in. There were some mistakes that I made on entry, like not waiting to verify the chart, and then chasing it down. But the trade idea made sense if I had executed it properly. So, my final judgment is I'm proud of holding it together through everything I had to deal with. I didn't, lose my cool. I stuck with it and was able to make a couple of dollars out of it. It's not what I wanted, but I'll take it. So what I'm going to do is make sure, going forward, I'm going to keep I got a note card right here already to make sure I transfer all of the data from my Thinkorswim charts to my DOS charts when I log in. That's what I'm going to have to do. When I log in to SureTrader, bring up the desktop, and when I go through the stocks, each one I need to transfer the levels and everything so that when I'm flipping through it, I won't have a blank chart and I have to go back and try to look at the Thinkorswim, and if it's messed up, I just don't need to take the trade. And had I just not taken this trade and gone back and waited for CTSH, I would have had the home run hit today. And you're going to have these home run trades on your watch all the time, but you probably will only hit that home run, hopefully once a week, maybe twice a week. The trade, I can't remember what day it was. Was it Wednesday? if I can remember, or was it yesterday? One of them, no, it was yesterday. It was a home run. We had a home run yesterday, but it just bounced and took me out. It was just one of those freak things. And then it goes on and makes the huge run. Things like that are going to happen. But the idea is that we're green. We are green at the end of the week. That's the number one thing. We have to be, our idea is to be green at the end of the week. So even though this trade was, it started with a couple of mistakes. We got almost $150 on it. Probably should have got 300 on it if it had done what I wanted to, or even a little bit more. But it just didn't work. I wasn't going to chase it. You can see what happened later in the day. Once it bounced, it based off this trend line held as support. So when it pulled back and it didn't break that trend anymore, we bounced up. We made a nice run, almost up to the 200 up here. Then eventually it started to sell off a little bit. But it never did come back and make the move I was looking for. But I'll take it. I will take it. So where that puts us for the week, not the best week. It's about half of what I did last week, but I'll take it. I'm not gonna cry over it, because our number one priority is to keep putting money in our account. So through 4 weeks throughout the year, 4 weeks through not 4 weeks, 4 months. For the first 4 months of the year, we have made $17,354. All of the calendars are on the website. You can go back and check each one. All of the trades we recapped on YouTube, so you guys can see the recaps of each trade that I took. And all of these were taken in the community, within here. And you see, April was a tricky month. There were multiple days I didn't take any trades. Had a lot of stuff going on. I was out of town for a couple of these days. So for it to be as loose of a month as it was, to finish, and this doesn't count these 3 days. Okay, these 3 days aren't counting in the April month. So 22.42.23 is what I made up to the 30th. And then these are going on the month of May's totals. But for the week, and for the purpose of doing my equity curve, I added all these together. But we've gained over 300%. We started with $5,000, and we've gained over 300% off of that $5,000. And I wire out and start over. I just wired out just after lunchtime. So, Monday we'll be starting back with $5,000. And that's what I like to do every month. Our goal is to work our way out of these brokers that cater to small accounts. So that's what I'm trying to show you. This is how we have to do it. And you can't look at what other people are doing. If you have a small account, why the hell would you follow somebody that has $50,000-$60,000 in their account and they're trading it? One day you aspire to be that, but you have to get there. there's certain skills and certain things that you do in a small account that you don't do in a large account. There's certain handcuffs you're gonna have with the smaller account. And if you sit there and try to follow people trading a lot more than you, it's probably not going to end well for you. So you want to make sure you're following. If you follow anybody, you want to make sure you're following somebody that's trading a similar account around the same amount of money that you're trading, and so you can kind of connect what's happening. You can engage with what's going on. Because when I was sitting back with with my little couple $1,000, and somebody is buying 5,000 shares of a stock that I could only get 100 shares of, and I just couldn't connect the dots. I could not engage with that. So you have to make sure that you're making decisions, and your trading is gonna fit whatever account size you're trading with. And again, our goal is not to stay small, it's to grow. But you have to add every month. You have to add. You can't. It's just like, I have guys that ask me all the time, why don't all of these stocks are moving and all this, why don't you look at trying to trade them in the afternoon? I'm like, I've tried that before. And all I do is I either lose all my money back or break even for the afternoon. Every now and then I may make a couple bucks, but I end up giving that right back. So by the end of the week, all I did was give up commissions. I made the broker rich, but I don't have anything to show for it. So no, I'm not going to chase. It's not ideal to chase stocks when the market is dead, the volatility is dead. Because all you're going to do is get chopped out and get back your money. You don't want to do that. So everything I do is focused. And you see, obviously it works. So let's take a look at the equity curve here. And you see we took that dip. We had a couple of hits along the way. A couple of red weeks. But here's the equity curve, and we are slowly inching up. 25K is my next goal. 15,000 was kind of the first hurdle, the first goal you wanted to hit. 25 is going to be the next. So we're slowly grinding our way there. Every now and then we'll catch a big week or a couple of big weeks like we had through here. This is February, solid month. So, still looking for that to move, to get one of those months again. Maybe May will be it. And also, this is the weekly P&L curve, and you can see this. This is where it gets ugly. If you're tracking your weekly P&L, this is where things get ugly. So what would you want to hold your hat on? And what's going to give you the most confidence? Is it looking at this equity curve here, or looking at your weekly P&L curve? This is going to give me some anxiety, because this is going to make it look like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I need to change what I'm doing because it's not working. When actually, if you look at it over a period of time, and you look at what you're adding every week, if you're going up, if your equity curve is continuing to climb, then you're doing the right thing. So all you do is keep working and keep focusing on cleaning up your trading and getting better. because once you get that enough and you're in a traditional trading account, then you can start increasing your share size a little bit. Your money, the money you make is gonna be a lot more, but you're gonna be in a position to where you can do that and actually keep the money in your account. And that's the key. So that's where we are. We're going in the next week. Like I said, we're going in the next week. We're starting fresh. I know we've already gone 3 days in May, but I didn't want to do that in the middle of the week. So we're starting fresh on Monday.